Hey guys, welcome back to Super Unimportant Reviews. My name is Steve. Today we'll be going over the Hasbro Transformers Age of Extinction Generation Deluxe Line Dinobot Slash. The first thing I want to get out of the way is if you guys have seen the new trailers for the new movie, they actually are starting to show a lot more of the Dinobots. Like, it's already official that Scorn and Slugger are going to be in the movie. So it's really cool that these guys aren't actually just going to be like filler toys or something. Like, a lot of these guys are actually in the film. And even though we haven't seen good old Slash yet, I'm still really happy that they put the toy out anyways, because from the original Beast Wars series, one of my other favorite characters from that was Dinobot. So I'm really glad that they got some kind of representation of him, because he was pretty much like a Dinobot for G1 purposes. So I'm really happy that they're actually putting him in with the rest of the game. And also I'm really excited that they're actually bringing out a Sludge, which is the G1 Brontosaurus character. So hopefully I'll be getting him relatively soon when he comes out. But for starters, we'll get into his packaging, which is pretty much the same as all the other guys, where they have the cool little concept image of him at the top. And then there's him in his robot form down there. And then Transformer logo. And then for the back of the packaging, he transforms in 13 steps. The other figures in the new wave is Strafe and Autobot Drift, which I was thinking about getting him, but he just kind of looks poopy, so I'm passing on him right now. And then I'll zoom in if you guys want to read the bio. Alright, we good? Alright. And then, still no data. Really bummed out about those still. Well, it's enough about that. Let's get it open up out of its plastic prison. So for starters, we're going to go over Slash's weapons, which he comes with 2 of these axes, which overall, they got like a decent amount of detailing on them, and they're just made out of this soft rubber, which for like the swords on Slug, they were made out of the soft rubber too, and it wasn't that bad with him. But on this one, it's really bendable, and already getting this problem of mine came out of the packaging where the axes are already warped. And if you can see right here, it's already got some like indents going on. So it's already having some cosmetic issues. So overall, it's not bad. Like, I understand like they want to be safe and stuff, but I don't really see why this can't be something a little more firm. So it's there. I'm not really that big of a fan of these, but getting into Slash here, I actually don't think he turned out really all that bad. Because when I first got him out of the packaging, I was really like not that super impressed with him. Because bring him a little closer for its detailing. Overall with his head, it's not too bad. It's got this a little more menacing look than some of the other Dinobots had, where he's got like the little gaps here for where his mouth plate would be. And he's got this construction worker hat thing going on top. Which one thing that's a little weird is for his eyes here, they're actually red, while on pretty much every other of the Dinobots, at least for the deluxes, they've been like this more like baby blue or robin blue kind of color. So that's a little bit different, which I can understand with him because of his overall coloring. His eyes wouldn't show very well if he went with that color. So I get it, it's just something that makes him a little bit more unique. And for his body, he's actually got a pretty decent amount of detailing. I like the little notches in here and his little breastplate armor. And then he's got his rib cages coming over his arms here, which is kind of a different look. But we'll get into the articulation in a few seconds, which these actually kind of suck in terms of that. And then for here, he's got these spikes, or what's the feathers in his Velociraptor mode, which they're also made out of this soft rubber, but it's a little bit more firm than like what you get with the axes here, because these things are stupid soft for some reason. And then his claws just kind of taper over his arms, just like Grimlock's did, which his actually don't lock into place, which is a little bit of a bummer. Like, they don't really move around all that much, but it's just a little nice if they're a little more flush, because they just kind of sit out on top. And he's got more of the feathers just kind of come up to the front here. And then for his legs, like, I don't think if you look at it from the front, it's not too bad. When you come around to the side here, you see he still has the elf boots, just like everybody else does. But the dinosaur head sticks out to the back here, and I'm not really that big of a fan of this, because there's one problem, is that this actually doesn't lock in. But also, it just has a lot of gapping right here, and I wish there was some way that they could have had it where the dinosaur head was showing on the outside. Just so when you're standing on your shelf, you see this instead of that. which is a little bit of an eyesore, and I'm just not a big fan of the way they did that. So pretty much overall for his detailing in this form, I'm not really all that impressed with it. Like, it's definitely probably my least favorite of the Dinobots in terms of aesthetics. And then getting into his articulation real quick, his head is on a swivel, so you can only go left and right. You can move this up and down, which also his dinosaur arms are here, so it kind of hinders this moving around unless you play with it a lot. But his arm's on a ball joint, so go up and down all the way around, but you gotta lift this up, otherwise everything gets kind of in the way. Then he has a bend at the bicep here, but the problem is because of the legs here and stuff, you don't get too much of a rotation. Like, that's pretty much it. Or sorry, a bend, and then he has a rotation up here at the bicep, and then nothing here at the hand, so it doesn't even rotate. So his arms don't really get much play with them. And coming down here, if you bend these down, he has a rotation at the waist. And then, so one problem I've been having with this guy a lot is his ball joints seem to pop off really easy. And I know that it happens sometimes with these transformers. On him, it just seems like, at least on mine, it does it fairly frequently. So when I was trying to get him into this form, everything just was randomly popping out on me while just messing around with it. But anyways, he has a rotation here at the waist. Yeah, his legs are on ball joints, so it kind of sucks because they don't get too much motion from the front because of the feathers being in the way here. But they can go all the way to the back, come all the way to the side, and get just popped off for no reason. And then he has a rotation here at the stop it. Why does Batcher keep haunting me with these things? Alright, so rotation here at the thigh, bend at the knee, and then his foot also has a pivot, which I noticed for, at least for mine, he has a really hard time standing upright as well. Get back into the slots there. So if you, like, you can get him to stand pretty easily with messing around with him, but just with the way the raptor heads and stuff are set up back here, it's a little bit of a pain, but there we go. So overall, at least in this form, I'm not really that thoroughly impressed with it. Like, he doesn't really look all that bad, but he just has a lot of little nitpicky problems, like here, and overall the helmet I'm not really that pleased with. Well, let's get him in the dinosaur form and see if it changes my mind. And one thing I want to show you guys real quick is for his weapon storage when he's in robot form, or same in Velociraptor form. You store the axes up here in his hands, which when you put them in, you just kind of plop them in there. They actually stay in there really well, which is really nice. So when he's in robot form, they just kind of stick up with the blades sticking up, which I think is actually not that bad of a look. And it's probably going to be the way I'm going to be displaying him on my show, because I don't really like him holding in his hands. Which, also showing the back of the here real quick, is where it's just tail hands off here. And it's just made out of the soft rubber, which I actually don't mind it with this as much. And then just to show you guys really quick, if I can get out of there. Come on, Battle Axes. And then here he is with his axes, which kind of bites because with his articulation, you don't get too much playability with these, because it's pretty much, he's going to be holding them exactly like this. You can rotate his elbow here, but it's because of his bend and stuff, he's pretty much just going to be standing there like, whatcha. And it's about all you can get. Like, maybe bring his arms up and move these out of the way a bit. I think like he's about to slash or something, but it just, I would have been really happy if maybe they put like a little bit like a rotation at the hand here, or had some way of at least giving me a little bit more of a bend with the elbow here. Just something to work with, you know. So for a quick comparison, here's Slash in robot form compared next to Slug, Strafe, and Scorn. And for another comparison, here's Slash in robot form compared next to Grimlock in robot form. So here's Slash in robot form compared next to some of my Dinobots in robot form, which, overall, I don't think he compares that badly next to him, even though I still really love this one, but these guys are a little bit more comparable. And now that we have Slash in dinosaur form, I actually personally really think this actually looks really good in this form. I really love the way the paint job comes across in this, because especially with here, because everything's now enclosed, it just shows off way better. And getting in a little closer for his detailing on his face, I actually think the head sculpt turned out really nice on this. Even if you open his mouth here, Like, he has a pretty awesome look here, especially with the jowls and everything on the inside. It looks really nice, and then especially with his eyes here, he has the optics look just like all the other ones do, except for Scorn was kind of like the odd man out. And his head sculpt actually looks really fantastic, especially with the way the paint application came across. Overall, actually, this is probably my favorite looking of all of them so far, at least in terms of the head mold. And for the rest of his body, he's got his little raptor hands, and then here's where the axes were in storage, which look really sweet on here because it kind of gives off that feathered look. And same back here, where he has his feathers up here. And overall, like, everything kind of hides pretty well on here, because his head's pretty much tucked away underneath his tail, so that's not coming across. And then here's where his leg segments are, which doesn't really show up too well either. It's not like hanging underneath like the old Dinobot was, which I'll show you guys in a minute. The only real eyesore in terms of just design is his hands are right here, so when you go to bend his legs in, his hand's going to pop out at the knee. So that's a little ugly looking. If you bring it back, it's going to be popping out here as well. So that kind of bites. But I really love the exoskeleton look coming across here, especially with like lifting his arms up. He has like his rib cage coming down along here, which is a really sweet look. And then overall, I still like how the tail came out on this too. The pink probably could have been a little better added, but it's not bad, especially being on rubber. Like, I think that turned out really nice. And then I like the way the little feathers are coming off back here. And he's got his giant toenail on his foot. So actually, overall in design, I actually really like this guy in this form. I think it's actually way better than the robot form turned out. And then for his articulation, his top of his head can move up and down. Same with his lower jaw, can move up and down as well. He doesn't have rotation, but he actually can bend up here at the neck, which you'll pop this out a little bit, but still, it actually gives you a lot of playability, so you could be looking up or looking more down at something like he's about to get ready to eat it. And then the only thing that kind of sucks about the arms is these axes get a little bit in the way because of the rib cage here, but they're on a ball joint here, so you get a little bit of posability with it going in and out, and then can pretty much go all the way around if you work it a bit. So it's not too bad. And his legs here, also on a ball joint, so they pretty much move all the way around, in and out. He has a bend here at the knee. I'm smacking my camera. He also has a rotation up here, up towards the waist. And then that's pretty much it. Like, he has a pivot at the legs, which is mainly for the transformation, but you can still give it the curve inward if you really need it to. And he's got a bend here at the front of his feet, so you can get him like, if you can somehow get him to stand, you can get him to do like a slashing pose or something, which is pretty sweet. So if you had like a clear display stand or something, it would actually maybe help accent this guy a little more. Have him like doing like jump kicks or something. Nothing really here at the tail, because it fixes in. So I actually really love this form for him. It turned out really nice, and it's pretty clean looking. And nothing's really gaping off and everything, so I'm really happy with that. Its articulation's good, and overall, it's probably going to be the way I display him on my shelf, because this is a lot better of a look for him than the robot form was. But most of the other Dinobots that I have, I'm going to be keeping them in robot form, because I think they look really fantastic in this. Well, this robot form is not so bad, but I really love the way this came out in this form. So this is definitely going to be the way, because it at least gives it some variety on my shelf, because then I'll at least have one guy in dinosaur form. So I'm really happy with this one. And for a quick comparison, here is Slash in dinosaur form compared next to Slug, Strafe, and Scorn. So for a quick comparison, here's Slash next to Grimlock, which this seems wrong. So for a quick comparison, here's Slash compared next to my Dinobots from my collection, which I actually think he stacks up pretty well when you have him next to these guys. So overall with Slash here, I actually think he didn't turn out as bad as I thought he was going to. Granted, the robot form isn't as exciting as I would really like it to be, and it's probably my least favorite out of all the Dinobots, but it's still not horrible. And then his dinosaur form is fantastic. Like, I love the way it's turned out and the way the colors come across on him. It just gives him this nice bright look, and the overall sculpt of this is still fantastic. So I actually still recommend picking up this guy if you're a big fan of Dinobots or AoE figures, especially if you really love to keep your guys in the their alt forms. This guy just looks amazing in this. So, what do you guys think? Are you guys excited about the new movie? Do you guys love the way the Dinobots look, or are you guys not a fan of Jurassic Park? Please let me know in the comments. And if you guys want to see closer pictures of them, we'll have them at our Facebook page. If you want to click the link in the description below. And if you like this and want to see more stuff like this, please give us a like and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching.